Let's bring in Steve Krakauer, a journalist and media critic. He's appeared on Fox News, CNN, and more, including our air right here on NewsNation. His book uncovered how the media got cozy with power, abandoned its principles, and lost the people is out now. Of course, he's not talking about us here, but a lot of mainstream media has received heavy criticism, including Fox News, for bias. Steve, I know the delay came from a judge amid a report by the Wall Street Journal that said that Fox made a late push to settle out of court. So what exactly would they have to offer, do you think, for Dominion to settle and agree on those terms?
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting turn of events here because all of the rumblings are that Fox was ready to push it to trial, although they were potentially interested in settling, and Dominion was ready to go all the way as well. And so you've got this situation now where if there is a settlement, I think that the clear answer is that Fox does not want to go to trial. They want to settle this. They don't want the embarrassment of the next 4 to 6 weeks, which is what this trial is supposed to be. One point that's worth noting: there is no video, there's no audio coming out of this, but it will be widely covered by the broader media. And there's certainly some embarrassing moments that could happen for Fox. But it also shows that Dominion is not really willing to roll the dice with this. If there really is a settlement, Dominion is going to just take it and run rather than put it in the hands of the jury here. And that's interesting as well. So I still think it's more likely than not that this trial gets started tomorrow, but there is obviously this last minute push for potentially getting that settlement in there.
But I was reading early this morning, and I was seeing a lot of reporting on the fact that there's a problem with Dominion's case, and it's how much they're asking for, that this amount is just so unrealistic that the valuation of their company is nowhere near $1 billion. So do you think that that's something you agree with?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that it's very unlikely that Dominion gets nothing out of this, whether they go to trial or obviously if they settle, they're going to get something. But it's not going to be anywhere close to what what Dominion was asking for, with billions here, which is just completely outlandish and ridiculous. And I have to say, I as someone who's in the media, whatever you think of Fox News, they have clearly through this demonstrated that what they put on the air about these election stories were lies. It was things that were not true. The question, of course, is actual malice and whether that it rose to the level of this kind of reckless disregard for the truth. And I don't necessarily see that. I think a jury might, but I think that if Dominion gets this, and in a big way, not just the billions, but even hundreds of millions, that is going to be very damaging for the press as a whole in ways that I don't think we really understand the implications of. The broader First Amendment, the way that organizations, news organizations, can be sued by entities and can get these giant settlements, that is obviously going to have a chilling effect on the media far beyond Fox News. So I think that whatever the number is, if it's enormous, not close to billions, but still very large, that could potentially have much broader ramifications than just for what happens with Fox News.
Well, I know that jury selection was supposed to end last week. It's going to continue into tomorrow, so it's taking a long time to seat a jury. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. If we get some surprise like we did today. Thank you so much, Steve Krakauer. We appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.